The bulldozer's roar shattered the dawn silence like a thunderclap, its metal teeth ripping into the earth that had been in my family for generations. I stood there, coffee mug trembling in my hand, watching as my grandfather's old cornfield, now a sprawling pit of mud and rebar, transformed into some suburban nightmare. That was the day Karen Whitmore, the self-appointed queen of our homeowners association, decided my land was hers to conquer. She'd sweet-talked the board, twisted the bylaws, and claimed eminent domain over what she called unused acreage to build her precious community pool. No warning, no negotiation, just the grind of machinery and her smug grin from across the fence, waving permits like victory flags. My blood boiled. This wasn't just dirt she was stealing. It was my heritage, my escape from the city's chokehold, the place where I'd buried my dog's ashes and dreamed of passing it to my kids someday. I stormed over, boots sinking into the fresh churned soil, the acrid smell of diesel fuel stinging my nostrils. "What the hell do you think you're doing, Karen?" I yelled, my voice cracking over the engine's growl. She turned, her perfectly coiffed blonde hair unmoved by the chaos, sipping from a stainless steel tumbler that probably cost more than my monthly mortgage. "Oh, honey," she cooed, her tone dripping with that fake southern charm she pulled out for confrontations, "this is for the greater good. The neighborhood needs recreation. Your farmland hasn't grown a thing in years, except weeds." She paused, tilting her head like she was explaining colors to a child. I felt my fists clench, the rough calluses from years of tilling pressing into my palms. Weeds? That field had fed families during the Depression, according to Grandpa's stories. But to her, it was just an eyesore blocking her vision of backyard barbecues and Instagram-worthy splashes. The argument escalated fast. Neighbors peeked from windows, curtains twitching like nervous eyelids. Karen's husband, Tim, hovered in the background, a spineless shadow in khakis, muttering apologies under his breath. "The homeowners association voted," she snapped, thrusting a clipboard at me. "It's legal. Deal with it." Legal? I'd pored over those documents later that night, the fluorescent kitchen light buzzing like an angry hornet, my wife Sarah rubbing my shoulders as I sighed deeply, the weight of defeat settling in my chest like wet cement. Turns out, she'd exploited a loophole from when our rural plot got annexed into the subdivision years ago. My land was technically common area, now ripe for improvements. I slammed the table, the thud echoing through our quiet home, waking the baby. Sarah whispered, "We'll fight it, Jake. We have to." But deep down, I knew the system was rigged for folks like Karen, entitled, connected, always one step ahead. Days blurred into weeks of construction hell. The constant hammering pounded like a migraine, dust clouds choking the air with that gritty, metallic tang. I'd wake to the beep-beep of backing trucks, their tires crunching gravel like bones underfoot. Karen paraded around like a director on set, barking orders at workers who avoided my gaze. "Make sure the tiles are imported Italian, none of that cheap stuff," she'd say, her laughter tinkling like shattered glass. I tried everything. Calls to the county, petitions from sympathetic neighbors, even a heated homeowners association meeting where voices rose in a cacophony of accusations. "You're destroying our peace," old Mr. Hargrove shouted, his cane thumping the floor for emphasis. But Karen dominated, her PowerPoint slides flashing renderings of laughing children and sparkling water, painting me as the grumpy holdout ruining everyone's fun. Then came the unexpected twist, the one that cracked open the story like a fault line in the earth. One rainy afternoon, as thunder rumbled in the distance and the scent of wet soil hung heavy, a stranger pulled up in a battered pickup. He was Elias, a grizzled archaeologist from the state university, tipped off by a friend about the dig. "Mind if I take a look?" he asked, rain dripping from his hat brim, his voice gravelly from years of fieldwork. I shrugged, figuring what harm could it do. As he poked around the edges of the pool site, his tools clinking softly against rocks, he unearthed something, a shard of pottery, then a bone fragment. My heart skipped, the air seemed to thicken with anticipation. "This could be Native American," he murmured, eyes widening behind fogged glasses. Turns out, my farmland sat on potential historical grounds, remnants of a forgotten settlement. The news spread like wildfire, whispers turning to shouts. Environmentalists showed up, signs waving in the wind, chanting against cultural desecration. Karen's face paled when the local news van arrived, cameras whirring like mechanical insects. Emotion swung wildly in those days. I'd feel triumphant one moment, imagining her empire crumbling, then despair the next as lawyers' fees piled up. Sarah and I argued in hushed tones at night, the creak of our old bed frame underscoring our fatigue. What if we lose everything, she'd sigh, her breath warm against my neck, tears soaking the pillow. I'd hold her, the faint lavender from her shampoo grounding me, promising we'd endure. Elias became an unlikely ally, sharing stories over coffee, how his own family lost land to developers, fueling his passion. This isn't just about a pool, he'd say, his voice dropping to a rumble. It's about roots, buried deep. His presence added layers, turning my solitary fight into a broader tale of preservation versus progress, stirring debates in online forums and town halls. Karen lashed out, calling it a hoax in viral posts, her typed words laced with emojis that couldn't hide the venom. The pool finished anyway, a gleaming azure monstrosity mocking me from my window. Opening day was a spectacle, balloons popping in the breeze, kids' squeals piercing the air like joyful daggers, the chlorine scent wafting over like an invasive perfume. Karen cut the ribbon with oversized scissors, her smile plastered wide, but I caught the flicker in her eyes, uncertainty, perhaps fear. I bided my time, researching late into the nights, the computer's hum a constant companion. Elias's findings led to an injunction, halting use until surveys completed. But Karen ignored it, hosting parties where laughter echoed mockingly. Frustration built like storm clouds, my breaths coming in short, angry bursts. Enough, I muttered one evening, the decision crystallizing as lightning flashed outside. The climax hit like a tidal wave. Under cover of night, with Elias's quiet nod and a crew of trusted friends, we struck. The pump's whine started low, then grew to a roar as water gushed out, swirling down drains like a defeated sigh. Karen's lights flicked on, she burst out in her robe, hair wild, freezing mid-step as floodlights illuminated the scene. Stop! This is vandalism, she shrieked, her voice cracking, high and desperate. But the permits were mine now, historical protections trumped her loophole. We didn't stop. Stones tumbled in next, truckloads of jagged rocks clattering like applause, filling the void with unyielding permanence. She stood there, rooted, rain starting to fall in fat drops that mixed with her tears. You can't. This is my dream, she whispered, but the words dissolved in the downpour's patter. As dawn broke, the pool was gone, replaced by a mound of stones, a monument to what was lost and reclaimed. Karen faced fines, lawsuits, her reputation shattered in the community's eyes. Whispers followed her, entitled much. The Homeowners Association reformed, bylaws tightened against such overreach. I knelt by the stones, fingers tracing their rough edges, the earthy smell rising like a bomb. Sarah joined me, our hands entwining, a soft exhale escaping her lips. Elias clapped my shoulder, his chuckle warm. Justice isn't always swift, but it's sure, he said. In the end, it wasn't just about winning. It was a reminder that roots run deep, and when you dig them up thoughtlessly, the ground fights back. Stand for what's yours, preserve the echoes of the past, and sometimes, the stones you throw become the foundation of something unbreakable. The neighborhood healed, gatherings now on neutral ground, laughter genuine. And me? I planted seeds atop those rocks, watching green shoots defy the odds, a living testament to resilience.